everybody. Give it up. And keep that going for your next comedian, Spencer Eddingfield.
Full disclosure, I will be bringing a different energy. So we're not going to be able to carry that all the way. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm glad you guys are out, because not to brag, but I have been very depressed recently. And I first realized I might have a problem when I ate $27 worth of KFC and Taco Bell in my car. Had to use the receipts as napkins. Wasn't even a combination KFC Taco Bell. Went to two different places of business. When I was talking to a therapist and I said, how do I know if I'm supposed to be here? I mean, we all feel down in the dumps sometimes, right? How do I know if therapy's right for me? And he said, well, let me ask you a question. This is a standard question I ask all of my patients. Do you ever pay for Tinder Plus, change your location to Chicago, swipe left until you find your ex's profile, jack off to the new pictures, and then cry? And I said, yeah, of course, who hasn't? And he said, most people. You should probably be here. Do have to say, I appreciate some of you laughing at the things that I'm saying so far. It's very kind of you. One of the nicer things you could be doing for me right now. Because I have bombed before, and folks, let me tell you, when it comes to bombing, I don't care for it. I do not like it at all. When I started doing stand-up, I thought bombing would be funny. Like, it would suck, but I'd be able to sit down afterwards and laugh it off. What are you gonna do? Guess I'll have to get him the next time. Turns out it makes me want to kill myself. Turns out it makes it so I can't even look in the mirror. A lot of the veteran comics take me under their wing and they give me advice, and it's always awful advice. By far the worst advice I've ever gotten from another comic is, man, all that matters, you're getting up there, you're telling jokes that you think are funny. Turns out that's not true. I recently made the mistake of coming out to my family that I'm a comic, and they're very loving and supportive. It's the worst case scenario, because they keep feeding me joke ideas, but they don't have a fundamental grasp on what a joke is. Like my cousin, he took me aside and he said, hey man, you still doing that stand-up comedy thing? And I say, oh yeah. I got a perfect joke for you. Let's hear it. You know how sometimes, when you're having sex with a woman, she farts out of her pussy. You gotta do something with that. So basically, his $1 million idea is the very concept of queefs. Queefs, they're still around. I mean, what's the deal with queefs? Don't you hate it when the teenage girl you pick up in Central Park keeps queefing? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? The Seinfeld episode, yeah? The infamous queef episode? Elaine was queefing the entire time. Putty was like weirdly into it. Do you know what I'm talking about, yeah? If you haven't seen it, it wouldn't surprise me. You'd have to go out of your way. When it first premiered in the 90s, it got so many complaints they just took it out of syndication. It's now one of the very few lost episodes of Seinfeld. That and the one where Kramer did stand up at the Laugh Factory. Happy to be out of the house. Any reason to be out of the house is good for me. We recently had a break-in. I live in Clifton. We had a break-in. A guy broke into our house in the middle of the night, and he took a shower. So it could have been much worse. I saw him in the living room, no shirt on, dripping wet, and I calmly asked him, oh, hey, who do you know here? Thinking maybe it was one of my roommate's more disheveled friends. And he said, oh, I know lots of people. All right. That one was on me. Had to be more specific. How did you get in? Like, who do you know? What are you doing here? And he said, oh, I was just going door to door. The back door was unlocked. I just needed somewhere to sleep. You know what? Credit where credit is due. He was being very transparent about his intentions. Not really knowing what to do next, I bang on my roommate's door, and he opens it up, and I say, hey, there's some, like, dripping wet, half-naked guy outside my room. I have no idea who he is. And my roommate said, nice. And I said, no. I was not, I was not my type. That's not what was happening. He's just some homeless guy. I'm pretty sure just some homeless guy walked into our house. I don't know, what are we supposed to do? My roommate said, okay, 2 things, let's calm down. First of all, he's an unhoused individual. Homeless guy, really? That is very dehumanizing. Second of all, let me grab my gun. So we're creeping down the stairs and he asks me, did you even ask him to leave? And I said, no. This is my first time experiencing this. I don't know what standard protocol is supposed to be. So my roommate yells out, hey man, can you please leave? And then after a brief pause, the homeless guy says, yeah, I'll leave. And then he left. It's an underwhelming end to the story. I'll be the first to admit it. But this actually happened to me, so sorry. He didn't give me something better to work with. C'est la vie. The homeless, notoriously bad at improv comedy. So, not to get very political for no reason at all, but have you ever gotten a blowjob so good you had to wipe your ass afterwards? God, I miss her so much. I'm taking a gamble on this one. I feel like there's enough young people here. This might work. May or may not work. Let's find out together. You know how you want to kill yourself, but you can't because your mom's still alive? Yeah? That totally normal feeling we all have? Yeah? Like you would if she wasn't around, but alas, she does yoga. So you're gonna have to tough it out for another 20 years. Yeah, we all know that healthy feeling. Great. Learned a lot here. I recently attended my 10-year high school reunion. I don't have a lot going on. And we were reminiscing about old times. I'm talking to people I haven't seen in, I guess, 10 years. And we were talking about, like, we had a lunch lady who had a mustache, so that was great. There was some kid in my class who was a total dumbass who got suspended for trying to sell pop brownies at the school bake sale. And, oh yeah, we had a teacher who had sex with 5 students. So that was wacky. Folks, you better get on board. There's 3 minutes of this. Whether or not you like it, I'm gonna do my time, get my meal voucher. Yeah, the story was she had sex with 5 guys on the basketball team. She did, so it's a fun story. And she was hot, it's fine. And she looked like Tina Fey, unless you don't like her, if you're like a conservative, she looked like Sarah Palin. And yeah, it should have been me, honestly. I'm bitter about it. Only time I've been angry about being short, didn't make it through basketball tryouts. Could have gotten that settlement money, would have been great. Yeah, and to be clear, when I say she had sex with 5 guys on the basketball team, this was not 5 separate incidents. She had sex with 5 guys on the basketball team. So, talk about a full court press. That's a fun little sports joke. I know what sports are. I definitely didn't Google list of basketball terms to come up with that one. Though I also have, she came off the bench and talked about playing D. So, a lot of options here, a lot of good tags. Yeah, the story was she would bring guys over and give them alcohol, give them weed, and they would just go to town. And you know what? Good for them. I don't know how they did it. I can't even pee if other guys are in the room. And it was great because it was this boring suburban school, and then one day you show up to homeroom and you're sitting on comedy gold. Like, hey, everybody was just trying to get a laugh. Like, guys, I got a good one. What's Miss Schuler's favorite restaurant? It's 5 Guys. That's aged well. I should probably stop using her real name at some point. But after Stacy Schuler had sex with 5 students at William Mason High School in the fall of 2010, we were all just trying to get a laugh. Like, hey, what if she got pregnant? Dude, because they'd have no idea whose kid it was. They'd all have to raise it together. What if she got knocked up? They'd have no idea whose kid it was, unless it was Jamal's. Because it would have been obvious. He was the only white kid on the team. All right, I feel like you guys have been great. This has been a ton of fun. I'm going to do one new joke. So, even if this one doesn't work, I feel like we had a pretty good time. I don't know about you guys, but my biggest sexual fantasy, I don't know if you guys are freaks, deviants. I don't know about you guys. But my biggest sexual fantasy, I want somebody to stomp on my cock like it was the eye in the Pixar logo. Well, this sure was a lot of fun. Thank you very, very much.
Give it up again for Spencer Eddingfield.